Hi, this is Elliot Wave Sage. Let's do a quick market update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. So, hope everyone in the U.S. had a good Thanksgiving. Market was closed yesterday. Futures trading, and we will. I think it's a half-day session today. So, where things stand right now with the market, it's to me, it wants a reason to go down and correct, but there needs to be a catalyst event that causes the sell-off, because the people that do push the market lower, they like to use those news events to create that fear and panic, and in the absence of that, they would just be wasting their dry powder, just to sell the sell. So they're going to hold back until the right moment, kind of like they're waiting for the right conditions, and then they'll play their hand, and it will be a dramatic sell-off when it comes. We just don't know the news event. Now the news event may already be known to these influencers that can move the market. But I think right now we are going to see the market peak. I still looking at the Dow Jones as 5 down and 2 up here. And this is kind of the pattern as long as we're below this 35.6. And if we go through the stochastics, let's go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour needs to reset desperately, so we do need a 4 hour reset, as you can see here. That opened us up for this first move lower, but then ultimately opened us up for the whole entire leg, and I think it's the same situation with a little bit of hidden bearish divergence there. And then on the daily time frame, same thing, needs a reset. We need to go lower and reset. So we have weeks of selling ahead of us when we do finally turn. And then on the weekly, I thought we needed at least one more good week to reset the weekly stochastic, and we're very close. If we stay strong into today, this could recalculate, and we could be reset. And if we're reset on the weekly, then we could actually be looking at not a multi-week, but potentially a couple months sell-off here. And as long as we're really below this line, the market is still bearish. The bears are still in control long term, and as you can see, the bears are still in control of this market. And then on the daily time frame, right now we're looking for that turn lower, so we're looking for that RSI break, and we're very close to getting that, or we've had it already, and it's just been very subtle, and a lot of people don't notice it. So we did get that trend break already in the daily. So the market is oversold. Shorter time frame, the 45-minute, as you can see, we're making higher highs with 1, 2, 3, 4 divergences. This is going to have a pretty quick drop down pretty soon. So I would expect to sell off at any moment, and it could create a multi-week and even a multi-month sell-off. And then we need to reassess where things are. So I do think right now, this is my labeling. I can change it to a lot of different things, but I do think that the market conditions favor lower market, and this counter trend rally should be running out of gas any moment. SPY is the same thing. As long as we're below 459, the market is still bearish. I won't go through the stochastics, but you can do that for yourself. And it just looks like a massive ABC, and down we go. The triple Qs did break. So right now, the way I'm going to label it is a couple ways. So the triple Qs could be telling us the long-term direction of the market, that potentially we're going to get the more devastating expanded flat pattern, and this could be giving us that clue. And what that would look like, as I mentioned before, here, where this would be A, right? I'm sorry, go back and do this again. W, and then X and Y. So we get this, you still get that sell-off, you still break this low, and then you get, if you thought this was a face-ripping rally God knows what this will look like when this comes. It would be probably just as vertical, just as strong. And then most people at this point will be saying, new bull market for sure. And it would be, new high, but then it would be a fake out like we had in '07. And then like, whoops, something really, catastrophic that no one knows. And we do that. So this pattern is what the NASDAQ is suggesting we're going to see. So if you look, that's a lot of sideways action and then capitulation later. So just keep that in mind if you're trading it. Can you survive this? Can you just hold your positions? No, you're going to have to trade in and out. In your puts, it will expire. You'll lose your time premium. Your calls will. Your triple levered funds will finish flat or lower. They won't. Nothing's going to work. But if you could go in and out, it'll work. If this is the count. Now, the other alternative is something even, I would say, even more devastating than this, because it would be such unusual. But we have seen truncations before. We have seen truncations before. It's not that uncommon. So if we go back to this fifth wave here, if you look at it, you can make an argument this is really just 3 waves and not 5 up. So if you did that, then you have only 3 up from here. So you could, and this is why Elliott waves isn't like, it has some subjectivity to it. So you could put that there. I could put the X there, and then I could put a Y here, something like this. Okay, I'm sorry, I put it like that, and then it finishes in this pattern: A, B, C, and then A, B, C. Then there's another alternative. If you do give that as 5 up, you just truncate and see, because now now it's an impulse and the swings are there, and you label this as like a 3-wave move and not 5 waves, which it looks 5 to me, but you could count this as a 3, a connector, and then 3. So there's a lot of possibilities here. If we look at the RSI, there's no divergence. So you could make a case that this is 3 waves down. And the only thing that I don't like about the truncation view is you have divergence here. So that's usually an expanded flat sign. So I'm just showing these alternate views. I don't think those are the views. I think, for me, I think the view on the NASDAQ is something like this. Like that for right now, followed by a run up again, another run higher. But we have to keep an open mind that it could be those alternatives. So we'll worry about that when we're down here, which one it is. But how low could prices get to? Hard to find a target in this kind of pattern, but maybe 339, somewhere down there, 322. Somewhere around here. Something like that. So if this is the case, then you would expect the SPY would do the same thing, and B would extend, and you would get this 3-wave move down later, and get something down to 398, 380. So I'm just showing a couple of possibilities, but right now the indices is a tough trade. It's in an area with a connector and a connector and a connector, basically. So it's very hard to trade this unless you're scalping and going in and out of positions. There was a trade set up, though, in the Russell that I mentioned, I think, last week. And it's still playing out as this 1-2, 1-2. And people are like, oh, it's not just crash. It's trying to test your patience. If this is going to play out, it's trying to, burn the puts, burn leverage, get people bored, get people to give up, So it's the moment of truth time for the Russell. Moment of truth time. If this is going to play out like I've got it, and if it does, it would be a nice short, a nice trade if we can get this. And I think it's looking more and more likely as the indices, the main indices, are running out of gas. We'll have to wait and see. And here's the count here. So you'll have to do what's best for you. And like I said, with the Russell, if it does end up taking back 1839, then it will make another swing higher. Then the market's got a lot more upside potentially. So it's a very important thing going on, but it looks real weak. And I heard there's been more calls bought in the Russell than like in the history of buying call. Like there's so many people along the Russell on calls. I mean, my guess is the market makers will love to take that money from you. And this is, to me, a nice clear downtrend. I mean, really nice wave action. And it's just the textbook Elliott wave, so it just seems too elegant for it not to work out. Bitcoin, I was mentioning, watching for this fifth wave at 40,000. I believe that is the final destination in this area for this final push higher. So we're getting close. Oil is struggling. We could still be in this X wave. It wouldn't surprise me to see that. Could it have truncated? Possibly. So I don't like it. I don't know where it may end up. And also B could be still in a triangle, and we could still get C later. So too many possibilities, but ultimately oil will give it up. And I believe this is when the market will give it up as well. The dollar index hit the buy area and bounced nicely. And it will be interesting to see if it can keep this low. And if it does, it should be more bearish for the market. If it can't keep the low, then we have to look at some of the RSI for clues. And my thinking is probably the daily would be better. It could turn into an impulse down and change the structure. We'll have to go back and reassess it. Could become like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be an impulse down, and that would probably lend me to a bounce and then another low later. So we'll have to wait and see how the dollar plays out. But right now, that's not the count. And then the 10-year, I warned you about the support at 434. We got the 436. I think that's close enough. And based on my count, we could be finished and we could be going into a liftoff on yields again, and people will be absolutely blown up. And then someone was posting there's on the TLT a bearish wedge that is about to break down, and I haven't looked at that. So that's something to keep an eye on too. But this could also, help the indices go lower. If this is done and we are in a 2, could we perhaps be getting a downgrade soon? Who knows the reason? A break of that trend line, so a break around 4.6 or into 4.7 should do it. And this is the first leg, so we should get a pretty nice, rebound in rates. The question is, will it go to new highs in a wave 3 of 3, shocking traders and investors, or will it be a connector for more lows later? We don't know, because this 2 can ultimately still go down all the way down to 3.2. So I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I do think now rates should be in a new cycle higher. And we did get like an impulse, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually this could be done the first leg up right now. So I can label this a lot of different ways. The VIX is in the buy area, but at the very lower edges. There's your lower low. It held that. This is massive support for the VIX. Like I said, they've squeezed this orange, and all the juice is pretty much gone here. Could it still drop a little lower? Sure, but this is this area historically, the VIX can't really get much more downside. And you really need to start, I would say, a massive new bull market to push it down to 8.5, the historical low. Um, that's typical of a wave three. In a wave three, we would see that on the with new highs in price discovery. We're not there, but as you can see, what I would read from this is market participants are really complacent. They don't think anything bad can happen. They feel overconfident they could just go buy puts as soon as the news comes out. But we all know that never seems to happen that easy, unfortunately. Um, all right, so that's the market. And then we'll go to just look at some Magnificent Seven stocks. Apple should be turning lower in this really complex correction, this wave 2. Amazon, not sure how Black Friday is going for them, but it looks like to me it's in this fifth wave here. Now, a couple things. You see how we pulled back. We really corrected that move, and then we made a higher high, but in 3 waves. So we could be in an ABC correction in the first leg, or something like that in Amazon. We'll have to wait and see. The beat could still make one more smaller high. The other option is 5 extends, and this is just 1 of 2 of 5, and we still need 3 of 5. I don't like that count, but you'll have to do what's best for you. And then Google, again, still in this connector wave that at some point will end, and we'll get why. Tesla is in the sell area. It got rejected. It's looking to pull back now in this 5th wave lower. AMD, it broke out of this short area, so it could continue to extend, but I do think at some point it's going to reverse. And it's just, again, a lot of traders, they just are like, they're so desperate to try to call the top and short the top, as they know there's so much money to be made coming that they're squeezing themselves out of the positions. And a lot of bears have weak hands. I mean, let's face it. I mean, bears have very weak hands. They get shaken out of their trades so quickly. And probably a lot of you that watch me, even if you're bearish, you probably don't hold your positions like the longs do. The longs have been trained for the last 20 years to hold and even hold through massive corrections and scary drops. But the bears haven't, they don't have that, habit and that skill developed yet in confidence because of this, the long-term direction the market has been in. So they tend to just panic out, and the bulls take advantage of that. But there is a lot of selling being held back in this market, obviously, but it's just waiting for the right news to strike. But I do think a lot of bears are trying to top tick these commonly traded stocks because it's going to be so lucrative coming up, and they just can't time it right. So it's really tough, and a lot of traders are having a hard time. But anyway, like Amazon, it could be finished here, and it could be in another flat. It could be in another connector. For all we know, X could continue. Like I mentioned, we could actually be in another connector like this. So that's why you just don't know when the turn is going to come. It's going to be tough to top ticket, so you got to wait for good setups. NVIDIA had a hard time on earnings. It did make this 5th wave, and now it's turning lower, and it hit a sell area in a 5th wave. If this was 4, the projected sell area would be this area, and that's where it hit, and then also a trend line, and then it reversed. So we'll be interested to see if NVIDIA is done here or not. Okay, all the other stocks, again, they're just waiting to reverse. I wouldn't FOMO into anything at the moment. I'm not at all. A lot of counter trend rallies, a lot of trapping people, a lot of chasing for performance. People feel like they've missed the move. But that's great to have that type of buy-in, because that's setting up for the rug pull later. Let's take a look through some of the other stocks here. See some AI stocks that I keep tabs on. We didn't mention Adobe. It's just in it as fifth wave, still extended fifth wave. Oh yeah, Microsoft. So I have the sell area at 383 for this 4. I'm gonna call it a 4. It does seem like it corrected this whole move up. If that's the case, then it could be 3, but it doesn't. So I'm gonna call it 4, but for now, it wasn't significant enough to say it's a new cycle. And I do think we still have some divergence at the daily here. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. Looks like barely. So given that, I think that it would be safer to change the chart on Microsoft. And this is what I would call it now. 3, 4, 5, and then A, B, C, something like that. I'll call it something like that. And the erasure divergence confirms this as the pattern at the moment. So you have to do what's best for you, but I wouldn't FOMO into it, but you know, a lot of people are, and we'll have to wait and see. And because this here could be, it really is correcting that whole move. So it's a connector for this cycle, and then here's your new cycle. It erases divergence. This is the expanded flat reversal area. It'll be interesting to see if that's how this plays out. How's Palantir? Hit our short area. So somebody asked me about Palantir. It literally hit our short area to almost a penny, and then a massive rejection. So this is interesting. It looks like this is playing out like I've got it. We'll go to commodity stocks. Let's just hit CVX. Looks like this fifth wave is finishing up. So we should be getting a counter trend rally, but more lows. How's the XLE looking? We're still pulling back. Broke trend. So we should be heading down. How about OIH? Now OIH is interesting. It's actually in a buy area at the moment. Again, you could put the 2 there, and you could put another 2 here with a 280 stop. But given the market conditions, I don't like buying it, especially with oil going lower. So I don't think this will hold like I have it here. I do think we're still in a bigger 2. But I just pointed out because it could we could see a reaction higher here. All right, a lot of people, let's see, are talking about the gold stuff. Let's see, GDX, chopping around. Gotta get 3 down, 3 up. It really needs to come back and take out this high at 30.14. If it can't do that, then it's in danger of having a bigger drop. And let's go to gold and silver real quick. A lot of people talking about gold and silver. And let's see how we're doing on our account. We still haven't taken out this high. So until that happens, it's still the bearish pattern, and this pattern's in play, especially if the dollar's going higher and rates are going higher. And then silver, same thing. It's in a short area. I would still stay away from it. Even though these are impressive, like numbers, 2000, everyone loves C2000. I'm just looking at a correction still that has to finish down in this area. All right, and healthcare. So healthcare, you know, nothing, you know, exciting really that gets my attention, makes me excited. How's mRNA? So we know it's a bottom once this cycle breaks. To me, it looks like it needs one more low, just on the count. That should happen pretty soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5. So like one more low on mRNA should break this cycle, and then should have a really big rally. But again, could the count be off by a little bit? Sure. So it's tough to say where it is at the moment, but it's the market's trying to decide, does it want one more low, or is it ready to rally out of this pattern? I know there's some like illness that's being reported that's starting to spread in China, some ammonia like symptoms. So is that a new pandemic, a new product for mRNA to go make a vaccine for? Who knows? If that's the case, then this will go back up into these areas again. We have to wait and see though. But if it's something to worry about or not, so just keep an eye on that news. Pod is extending, and I mentioned that this could extend and turn into a wave 3 and not be a 5. That's why you should never short that. And it looks like it's turned into wave 3. But what we do have to be careful is it doesn't turn into a larger three-wave move, where this is the connector. So if it does erase divergence, there's a chance at 196. If it can hit that, this could just be a massive three-wave move. The full traders and trap them on the downtrend line. That's the downtrend line, and then it goes back and lights out. So it does feel good, but it could still be a bearish pattern. The erasure divergence sometimes is a mixed blessing. Short term it feels great, but long term it could destroy you later, because essentially it's just trapping more people for lower lows. Okay, so these are the stocks that you've requested over my live stream. A lot of stocks here not doing so well. Let's go to the ones that did well recently. This is XEAI. Yeah, it's finishing up. Symbiotic. Okay, so Symbiotic never pushed down to this final low. So all it's doing is it's extending into connector wave, and it's gonna push up the target. So it's just in a extended B wave, because I don't like this bottom. I don't like how this bottomed out. So actually, I would just call this as a truncated W wave here on Symbiotic, and it morphed into a three-wave reaction. And this truncation here should allow this to reverse soon, and it may already start to do that. And we'll actually probably get the target this way. So there's the short area, and we'll be interested to see if it can break through that. And it could still continue higher, but I don't think this is the low. And in fact, you could call that 5 waves down maybe, and just change that. But this is too strong. So this is the count for now on Symbiotic. Let's go to Mara and Riot, because I know you guys like to trade that. So Mara took out this high, which is good. So then there's a connector. So X should continue a little bit higher. So the short area now is extended, and now there's a target 1184. Or really this area that I've got highlighted. And then Riot still in 2. But if it does break 1293, break that high. All right, so I'm going to end the video here at 30 minutes. Good luck trading. The market is ready for a pretty significant multi-week, potentially multi-month reversal. So just get ready for it and position and think about your portfolios and how you're going to do it. Right now, everybody's trying to top tick the market on the short side. That in combination with weak, just generally weak hands and poor trading mechanics and mentality, the bears keep blowing themselves up. and delaying the eventual end of the bear market. But don't worry, it's coming. And when it does, there'll be a lot of opportunities for investors, long-term investors, to take those shares from the panicked long positions, which are the ones being trapped at, those that are buying right now. All right, guys, have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you later.